I'm Corbett Wall with DV Auction, here with the cattle market summary for the week ending July the 12th. And first of all, I want to start out, and I share a lot of personal things with you folks that watch this video pretty regularly, but I want to thank everyone involved in the International Livestock Auctioneer Championship at the Calgary Stampede for allowing me personally to realize the dream of competing in a livestock auctioneer championship. It was a great time. I've always wanted to do something like that. Never have gotten to do it before, never even gotten close before. It's as good a contest, I believe, as is out there. It doesn't get as much exposure as the World Championship, and if you do win the International Livestock contest, you do qualify for the World. But I tell you what, there's world-class auctioneers there at Calgary competing every year, and there was again this year. It was a thrill for me. It was just a first-class run outfit from top to bottom. The board there with International Livestock Auctioneer Championship are all dedicated to Western heritage preservation. They're dedicated to promoting the cattle industry, the auction market industry. It was a great deal. My good buddy Rob Bergevin and his wife Sharon, they hosted it at their sale barn at Foothills Auctioneers in Staveley, Alberta, which would be south of Calgary there. They had a great run of cattle. It was smooth. Everything worked great. Really good quality. Every time the gate opened, the cattle were there. Good buying activity. Of course, the market was hot. It always is at those auctioneer contests, but had top rate judges there. They always have two American judges. I was lucky enough to be a judge last year. This year they had celebrity judges, top rate from America and Canada, but the American judges were Kyle Shobe and Tom Fry, and it wouldn't get any better than that. It was just an awesome deal, and a great time had by all. Get to take in the Calgary Stampede, get to do it all. As it ended up, I landed just outside the top 10. Would have loved to make the top 10. Of course, that gives me something to shoot for. But it was a good time had by all, and all the contestants there were top rate. They even had an auctioneer from South Africa, another one from Australia, and it was a great time. And congratulations to my friend Tim Yoder from Montezuma, Georgia, who come out on top. He got the hardware, the gold buckle, and the $10,000, and so congratulations to him and his family. But we'll get on with the market report now. Demand driven, these prices are going up top to bottom, guys, and it's on the fat cattle because the packers want them. It's on the feeders, the yearling feeders, because these feedlots want those good green grass yearlings that absolutely perform better than anything that they can buy all year long. Not a lot of calves moving right now, but it's even bleeding over into the few calves that are moving, and it's just kind of a trickle on those. It's not your big strings of calves by any means, but we did have those two big videos, and there was pretty decent demand for this early for your fall delivery calves. Let's look at the board for the week. August live cattle futures, Monday was down 85 cents, Tuesday up 197, Wednesday down $0.50, Thursday up a quarter, Friday up 60 cents. To end the week with August live cattle futures at 108.47, up $1.47 for the week. October ended at 109.97, up $1.90 for the week. August feeder cattle, Monday was up 7 cents, Tuesday was up almost $4, $3.97, and that is what helped spur everything. Wednesday was down 52 cents, Thursday was up 27 cents, Friday was down $1.02. But August feeder cattle ended the week at 141.60, up $2.78 for the week. September 142.55, up $3.85. And you think maybe that feeder cattle with demand was all pushed by lower grains. No, your grains picked up a little steam too. December corn ended the week at 4.59 and a quarter. That was up 17 cents. Your beans for November, new crop, new 9.31 and a half, up 37 cents. But just a good demand for everything. Your board supported, and like I said, mainly your demand. Supply is always in there too, but it's mostly demand driven. Your fat cattle trade. Your packers needed cattle. It was obvious last week that they needed cattle. They needed cattle in the northern plains. They were kind of short of market-ready cattle in the northern plains because you look back about 150 days from this week and the misery that the northern plains was going for. They just didn't have any cattle placed right then. So there's a hole right here in those cattle. Your fat cattle market needs to make hay while we've got that hole in those northern feedlot placements there, because as we move forward and they started being able to put some cattle on feed as we start getting into the early fall, then we're going to build back up on our market ready supplies. But from the very start of the early trickle trade, which it was quiet early in the week, but it started out higher and it stayed higher. It was higher all week. Packers didn't want to admit that we were going to establish that higher market. It was kind of just put off as, a special deal here or top quality deal there. Ended up selling cattle quite a bit higher. Through Thursday, just under 30,000 head had sold, so nothing. But Friday they come in there, they had to get some cattle bought. Had to. Southern Plains market, mostly all $1.12 in Texas and Kansas, $3 higher. When's the last time the fat cattle market gained $3 across the board? Northern Plains, like I said, they're short of cattle up there. 115 was probably your most popular price there. That was from $1.50 to $3 higher. Your dress trade, 182 to 183, that was $2 to $3 higher. But your northern plains, just like the Packers always do, they're starting to work the psyche again, and they started to spread the rumors all week long that the northern plains packing plants were going to stop Saturday kills. These cattle on them, their margin is still over $200 a head, even those box beef cutout values were quite a bit lower this past week and the fat cattle market was higher. They're still making money hand over fist, something that your feedlots, your cattle feeders would love to have, just a few weeks of making that kind of money. But they say they're going to quit having Saturday kills. They've got contracts with those union workers. They're guaranteed so many hours. So, if they stop Saturday kill, they're going to have to make it up somewhere. And they'd rather do it when they're making money than maybe when things, the box beef cutouts go down lower and maybe your fats get higher or stay the same. They may not be making as much down the road and have to make up hours then. Why would they want to do that? Your box beef cutouts, like I said, were quite a bit lower. Choice cuts average trade for the week, $214.64. That was off $4.64 from the average trade of the previous week. Your select cuts, $191.56, quite a bit lower than your choice, but that was also down almost $4 from the average of last week. And then your select cuts ended the week much lower than that average price. It was under $190 by the time we got to the end of the week. But for your average trade of last week, your choice select spread was $23.08 with a good healthy movement of 699 loads of cuts, grinds, and trimmings. Your slaughter was healthy, 655,000 head. That's a big slaughter, guys. Post-holiday week slaughter there. You compare that 655 to the same week a year ago, which was 650. It was healthier than that. Now we are up to your cattle slaughter being 1.2% higher year to date. And you remember for the year last year, it was up 2.5% to the previous year. So we are moving a lot of beef. This fake meat's not hurting anything because we're making a lot of protein, guys, and selling it. But like I said, your cattle slaughter up 1.2% year to date. Your hog slaughter up 3.3% year to date. They're China needing some protein and won't order it from us, and we've got all this extra. But your sheep slaughter, sheep and lamb slaughter, up 2.4% for the year to date. And even your calf slaughter and your special fed veal up 3.4% year to date. And just all that protein, red meat out there, guys. But let's talk about some of your feeder cattle markets. Real-time index on Cattle Market Central ended the week 141.18. That was over $5 higher than the end of the last week there, and that's not counting any of your video sales, because the only thing that goes in there is brick and mortar, actual competitive auction markets. So, but your video sales were big. Western had a big video. We talked about some of those lots that sold really high there, and a lot of those program cattle, a lot of those premium programs. Also, same deal with Superior's Week in the Rockies. They had a great sale there, and the board cooperated with both of them. Both of them sold most of their yearlings before we realized the big gain in the board, but it was still good on everything that they sold. In your actual sale barns, your cash feeders for the week, your yearling feeders were sure $5 to $10 higher. El Reno was straight up $7 to $9 higher. You remember I stopped in there and we talked about that market there on our last visit, and just excellent sale there on a good run of yearling feeders. Your calves were $3 to $5 higher across the nation, but not moving very heavily right now. Most of your calves are still on their mamas and enjoying the best time of their life out there on that green grass, but just not seeing a lot of calves moving. We are starting to see a lot more of your fall delivery calves offered up on the videos and even on private treaty, and guys talking about getting some of those secured as we go down the next few months. But I want to talk to you about a sale that they're going to be having here on Wednesday on DV Auction. My friends out east at Abington, Virginia Feeder Cattle Association are having one of their tele-auctions, and we've got it here on DV Auction. Wednesday night, the 17th at 6 o'clock Central Time. It's 7 o'clock Eastern, but 6 o'clock Central Time on dvauction.com. Go on to that Abington, Virginia feeder cattle tele-auction. They're offering around 1,100 head. They'll all be offered in square loads. All the cattle will be long time weaned. They've got some calves, they've got some yearlings, they've got steers, they've got heifers, but all the cattle will be offered in load lots. All the cattle will be long time weaned. They've all had a good health program, and you will not believe the quality, guys. And they've got some middleweight loads of cattle on there too that are long time weaned. For you guys there in the Eastern Corn Belt that might want to add value to some of your corn, maybe some damaged stuff, maybe you've got some silage put up or something like that. But don't miss that sale, and I promise you, if you get some of those cattle from Virginia out there at those Virginia Cattlemen's Association deals, you'll love them. The quality is outstanding. But let's talk about something that's going on in the direct trade. Your Flint Hills is starting to move cattle now. The market's come to them. I told you guys it was kind of coming to them. They weren't happy a couple of weeks ago. They're still not happy. A lot of them still not making any money on these cattle that they grazed all summer out there. But it's the market's getting good enough out there that they're turning loose a lot of these cattle. A friend of mine bought a big string of cattle out there on a direct basis, 3,500 head in one whack, top quality 850-pound base weight steers coming off the Flint Hills to deliver within the next 2 weeks here, and with a price of $146. That's the market, guys, on an 850-pound steer, top quality kind. Now that's about $4 better than it was here just a week or 10 days ago, and it's pretty good. But that's kind of where your market's at on those cattle coming off those Flint Hill pastures there. Probably about the same down in the Osage. It gets a little bit better maybe than that. Of course, the cattle get quite a bit better as you get up into Nebraska and the northern plains, but it's always kind of a thing whenever you realize where your market's based on the Flint Hills, and you sell a big string like that to weigh 850 at 146. That's pretty much the market. It's going to be hard to push that market one way or the other, but it continues. The market continues to come to the guys as we get ready to deliver. Look at some sales they had. Mankato Livestock Incorporated, Mankato, Kansas. That's getting a little north of there, but still kind of your same kind of market. Look at the price. 67 head of 824-pound steers there in the ring, 146. That's kind of what your market is. Look at a market way out east. Bluegrass Stockyards, Richmond, Kentucky there on Friday. 72 head of 800-pound steers there bring 143 1/4. And that's a lot more freight than that, guys, if you're wanting to feed them out in the main part of your cattle feeding region. But for those of you that watch me all the time, and I try not to forecast the market that much, I just want to tell you guys what's going on and the conditions that might affect the market. But I did kind of go out on a limb, which I shouldn't have done, and try not to do much anymore. But I told you guys here back when we were early in the spring, late winter, we were looking at the board for your summer trade and things, and guys were thinking around a 140, and I said, when those green grass yearlings come to town and those feedlots want to buy them and they don't want the grazers to feed those cattle themselves because they'll see what they can do, maybe gain 6 pounds a day or something like that. I said the market on those 800-pound steers out there will be closer to 170 than it will be 140. Boy, was I wrong. But actually I wasn't. I was just talking about your Highway 20 Nebraska steers up in that part of the country. Listen to what they bring in the ring. Bassett, Nebraska, on Wednesday of just this past week, 186 head of 797 or 800-pound steers in Bassett bring 163 1/4. I was right. Valentine, Nebraska on Thursday, 121 weighing 823 pounds in Valentine on Thursday, $160. So if I'm ever talking about what cattle could possibly bring and hoping for the moon, I'm talking about Highway 20 running across the northern part of Nebraska. But that's a look at your markets for this past week. From on the road here in Kansas City, getting back, did a speaking engagement here for the Red Angus Beef Summit and headed down to Alabama to speak to some of my friends down there. But we'll talk to you next week.